It doesn't look like I'm glitching out, I don't think, on my end of things. Oh no, I am dropping some frames. Hang on. I'm not sure why I'm dropping so many frames. That's very unusual. It's going down again, though, the number of frames that were dropped. I'm not sure what was causing that. Am I doing okay now? Praise, am I doing okay? Oh, okay. Let me get autofocus back on. There we go. Okay, so hopefully it's just your phone then. Did you see what I was saying about the water marble clovers, Praise? How I didn't really, like, I don't know, I felt like I wanted more layers of swirl and line around the clovers, and how it ended up just as one thicker green border. Oh boy, that's spooky and unusual and strange. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do a water marble clover again this year because I did a water marble clover last year. And I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. Obviously something rainbow related would be fine. I think that the rainbow I did last year, the colors worked pretty well, so I could use those colors again for something rainbowish if that worked. I did have a water marble rainbow test that I did like a year and a half ago. I think I have the little swatch paper over here. Yeah. I did a little test of a water marble rainbow, but I actually didn't write down the colors for it, which is not good because now I don't remember what they were, and the purple kind of doesn't show through as well as I would have liked. I know the Fee Fi Fo plum color didn't work in the water marble, and so I had to pick something else. I think it was KL Polish Mozart because it's this more muted. That's the purple right there. It's much more muted than all the other colors. So I was considering doing something with a water marble rainbow again, possibly instead, and then having, I don't know, it seems kind of a waste to do not green on the green holiday for a green lover like me. So I might end up doing, yeah, they could praise. The chevrons like that, yeah. You're right. Anyway, I'm thinking about whether or not I want to do this or not. I'm probably not going to do the actual design until probably Friday after work. But I want to figure out what I'm doing so I can plan, and if I'm doing decals or something, we'll do the decal painting tonight so that it has a chance to dry and all of that beforehand. I really do like this, though. I want to do something rainbow with this at some point. Like, look at this little spot right here. It's got the, I wish my light had a longer cord on it so I could pull it over better. Focus, please. It's got the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then the purple, it just gets kind of blended in there again, but it's like a perfect little rainbow stripe. I wish I'd written down the colors for it, though, because if I do decide that I want to try that, it will take a lot longer to try to remember what the colors were. Let's take a look at some of the greens I already pulled out. One of the things that I've wanted to do for a long, long time is a gradient of greens from like the darkest green all the way through to the lightest green in shades of olive green, which is my favorite type of green. Praise, I think I was telling you about this the other day. And I really wanted, I really wanted this polish to be the one that filled in the missing place, but it's too blue toned. It's a pretty color, Take Me to the Spa, but it is not the right tone that I needed, so I'm still not able to do that, and I'm still on the hunt for that other perfect green to fill that gradient. So that doesn't work as planned. Excuse me. So let's take a look at the greens I pulled yesterday evening when I was just looking around. This one is called Bee's Knees Fauna. Let me see if I can get a better focus on that too. You know, I put this up here because so you could see better when I was like painting and things down here, but it's awkward to hold up swatch sticks, so I'm going to move it for a minute so you can get some better light on it too. This is a magnetic polish. I only did the magnet on this bottom half from here down, so the top half is what it looks like when it's not magnetized. It's just a kind of a muted greenish sort of a color with flakies. And then on the bottom is with it magnetized. I have the matte edge here that doesn't show it as well, but here in the middle, it's got a more of a bluish greenish flash where the magnetic has been pulled. Come on, focus please. There we go. Do you see the bluish greenish magnetic that floats across there? But it's not as obviously green, so I'm probably not going to use that one. It's called The World by Bee's Knees Lacquer. This one is Moonshine Mani polish called Malfurion Storm Rage. It's not coming across as bright on camera as it is in person. This is almost neon in person. And I really like the flakies, and if I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit brighter than I generally prefer. It's not quite in my comfort zone. It's a lot brighter than what it's looking like on camera. That looks kind of muted. It's quite neon. Let me see if I put it next to a darker green if it'll compare better. No, it still looks more muted. It's a lot yellower too in the tone. Anyway, if I'm going to wear something like this, St. Patrick's Day would be the time. But I'm not sure if I really want to be that bright this week, if I'm in the mood for that. So, that's that. This is a multi-chrome flaky polish from KB Shimmer called Flake Expectations. It is greens and blues in the multi-chrome aspect of it. So, from this angle, it looks almost purple. It's quite blue. And then as it shifts, you go all the way through to a bright kind of a grassy green. I don't think that's showing up very well at this angle. Let me see if I move the light, if it changes the way that you can tell. Yeah, there. Do you see that green flash? That's the color that it shifts to. So all the way from almost purple to like a yellowish green. And that could be used as an accent, possibly. That I'm considering. This one I am not going to use. I pulled it out because the color tone was pretty. It's a sort of an olive green with gold and blue flakies, which I really like, but it takes 4 coats to be opaque, and I'm not all about that. It's too much work right now for me to do that. This one has a lot of brownish tones in it. It's almost like a bronze that has a green flash, so it felt like gold-ish with green incorporated, but I think it's too, I don't know, too understated. Yeah, it is almost gold. It's like a bronze-ish, the flash is green, but it's like a browny bronze-ish, goldish sort of a tone, so I was thinking like gold with a little bit of green was St. Patrick's-ish, but I think it's a little bit too brown. In person, from far away, it wouldn't read as green to the same degree, so I don't think I'm going to use that one. This one is called If the Broom Fits, Fly It from Polish M. It is a green-based Crelly with more neon green glitters and black glitters in it. So I like that it's a green on green, that there's multiple tones of green in it. It's coming across there. That's a little bit better for the tone. But but I'm not sure if it is super St. Patrick's in the black speckling element might not be quite what I'm looking for. So that's a maybe. This one is a... Oh, I pulled this one out because I was thinking about it as a possibility for the darkest green in that gradient, but it's too saturated, so that doesn't count. Same thing with this one, the Virago Varnish Oktoberfest. I was thinking about putting it into that gradient, and it was, again, slightly too saturated. This one is an 1850 polish called Joshua Tree. It's a metallic greenish color, but it leans a little silver, so it's like a greenish silverish kind of a tone. I don't know. I might incorporate this if I decide, if I decide that I want a metallic part element in it, so that I have a green sort of metallic tone somewhere. We'll see. That's a maybe also. I also might, if I'm thinking metallic-ish something, I might use this Moonshine Mani polish called I Drive a Dodge Stratus, which is, I think, based on a Saturday Night Live skit. It has a kind of a goldish greenish metallic as well, but it has flakies in there, greenish bluish flakies. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little better. Focus, please. There we go. Can you see the flakies? But that one might be magpie tendencies activating. Yes, exactly. So this one is also a possibility for a metallic something if I feel like I want that in there. This one is a Bow polish. This is actually my only polish by Bow Polish. It's called Delete Repeat. It's a very muted, sort of a sagey green, like a lighter on the... It's in that same family of greens, but it's lighter, and it has gold flakies in it. But they're a little bit more... Come on, focus, please. It's a little bit more translucent feeling, and it has a little bit of shimmer in there, too. I like this. It's really delicate and feels very springish to me. But it does take 3 coats to be opaque. So this is a possibility too. Green gradient manicure with gold French tips. Oh no, I am so not about that life. I don't really like French tip of color over a colored base. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people do it, but I don't like it. Gold moons as in like the half moon praise? Is that what you're saying? Like your Lunella? Here? This is a Linby Designs polish called I Sir Didymus Yield to Thee. It is green. It's, yeah, that's not a bad idea, praise. I'll think about it. I'll consider it. This one has a bunch of blue flakies and some holographic flakies in it. This one is in a similar vein to this one in regard to the general feel of the polish. Like, it's a green with flakies, but this one is a lot more yellow toned and a lot more neon, and this one has more blue elements in it, and it also has a shimmer. You can see, can you see that right there? It's got a reddish copper shimmer. So that's a possibility too. I feel like the holographic adds the little bit of rainbow. Do you know? The rainbow for St. Patrick's Day? Maybe, I don't know. We also have this one that I got from Pahlish called Nagini, and it is a very light green with gold flakies. This one is feeling very spring, but also very green and gold. I'm strongly leaning toward this if I go for a green, because I just really like the gold flaky element. It feels very St. Patrick's Day, but the green is very green still. It's a bright spring kind of a green. This is showing up a little more muted than it is in person. It's got a little bit more of a yellow yellowish, greenish tone to it. It's not really brighter than this, it's just slightly more saturated. Let me see if I can get a different read on the color. I don't think I can. This one with gold half moons, it's a possibility. It is a possibility. That one is one of the stronger contenders. There's also this polish, which is called Knock on Wood from Creative Cuticles. And it has green and gold and brown glitters. It's mostly green and gold, but it has a little bit of brown. You can see the colors a little bit better there on the matte side where it's not glaring quite so much. So this is a possibility as well. I have a white jelly polish that I want to experiment with layering with this to make kind of a jelly sandwich crully feeling. So it feels like, I'm sorry, my other window is covering you. Christmas. No, it doesn't feel red at all. It feels like Keebler elves making cookies in a tree to me. Is that weird? This reminds me of Keebler elves making fudge cookies. Because it's the green and the gold makes me think of leprechaunish, elfish sort of things, and then the brown and the green makes me think of trees. Yeah, it's not. You can't really see the brown all that much. I want to experiment with this. We're definitely going to experiment with this and the two white jelly / crelly polishes that I have and see how I feel about a customized crelly mix with it. This is another one that I pulled out for a slightly green toned metallic that's also slightly gold toned. This one is called She Turned Me Into a Newt. It's another Moonshine Manny. And it has... there's a lot of elements in this polish. I remember when she released it, she was like explaining how she made it. There's multi-chrome shimmer in there that it has like a slightly blue tone at only certain angles, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. It ends up just looking kind of greenish goldish, mostly goldish. Yeah, so that's an option for the metallics as well, but probably less likely than the Joshua Tree color that I pulled out earlier. Yes, brown fudge cookies. Yes, Praise. That's exactly right. This one is called Bluebird Lacquer Polywanta Carcass. And it was supposed to be a thermal. It was a polish pickup color. It's supposed to go from this green to an almost black color, and it's got flakies in it. When it arrived, it didn't really transition. The pigment must have been damaged in shipping somehow, because all of the other thermals I've gotten from them work fine. But I'm not really that mad about it, because I was hoping when it died that it would die in the green color and not in the darker color, so I was considering that one. I don't think that this one is better than my other options of greens with flakies, though, so that's going to be a no. I also have another Creative Cuticles color. I got it at the same time that I got that glitter, called Camo. And it is green with gold. I have a lot of green with gold. And then I have some other options that are already on swatch sticks that are already organized, so they're not loose. Let me grab those. Here they are. Let's take a look at the ones on this wheel first. These are kind of more of a paler green tone. They're not the yellower green. They're more of a bluish toned green, almost leaning toward a very light teal. This is a Color Club polish called In the Mix. It's the first crelly I ever got, and I have a very soft spot in my heart for it. It kind of feels like spring eggs and stuff, so I kind of want to save these for Easter. So I might not use that one. These two have pretty similar tonal ideas. This one has a little bit more purple tones in the flecklies, and this one has a little bit more reddish tones in the flecklies. So, I mean, they're options. They're less less blatantly green, more spring influenced. So I was thinking about that. And then over here we have these two, which have similar concepts from each other as well. This one is Noodles Nail Polish Spring Blooms. Please focus. There we go. And then this one is mostly glitters. This one has some flakies in it. This one is Dollish Polish Harmonious Heart. This one is slightly more green. This one is slightly more muted. If I did pick one of these, it would really depend on if I felt like doing 3 coats or 2 coats. Because this one I probably would prefer the green. The gold is a little bit more evident in it, and it's slightly more green. But if I didn't want to do 3 coats, this one's pretty close. And then over here, Zoya Vespa, and this is one of my top favorite 3 greens. It's the Super Cooper color from Sinful Colors. I really love this color, and I haven't worn it for a while, so I'm really tempted. But it has silver flakies instead of gold flakies, so I might, both of these have silver in the included elements in the polish rather than gold. So I think I'm going to save this for something else. I'm not going to use those. Let's see. And then on this one over here, whoops, sorry. We have several options. This is my favorite polish of all time. It's called Alley Kid Lacquer Feronia, and it is a olive green with gold flakies and copper micro flakies. Can you see the flakies there a little bit better? Yeah, I love this polish. It's really, really pretty. I'm highly tempted to use this if I pick a green with gold flakies. It's a little muted though. This is Picture Polish Cactus. It's green with gold. It's darker though. And then here's a Moonshine Manny polish called You Are Now Prepared, which is a green with a different tone of green, flaky. I like that too. This one is too dark. This one is not an option either. No, I don't want to do either of those. Okay. So, of the greens with flakies, let me put this up out of the way. Of the greens with flakies, our options that we have been looking at are I do also have a topper praise that has, and anyone else who's watching, a topper that has this texture of gold flaky that I could put over a different green. That's also an option. Okay, so of these, I would pick Feronia over the Delete Repeat color because they are similar in the flaky element, but Feronia is a little darker and it only takes 2 coats instead of 3. Please focus. Thank you. And the flakies are more evident as gold. So I would pick this one over the Bow Delete Repeat for what we're doing today, or starting to do today, or planning today. And then of these, I feel like if I'm going for green and gold, I would rather do it with this way rather than this way. This one feels a little bit more just pickle colored, so we're going to say no to that one. And these are all very distinct as options then. They're all greens with flakies, but they all are quite different. So I'm going to save those out to the side. Let's do some experimenting with that jelly after I take a drink. Okay, so I have two white jellies. One of them is from Contrary Polish. It is called Cloud. This one is slightly more opaque. So I feel like if I mix it with this color, which I also need to grab off of the shelf. Hang on a second. I gotta grab my things. Let me grab a polished color too. While I'm at it. And I also have several different gold toppers. I think I'll grab the green topper that I was telling you about. This is Goldsmith. It's the same flaky as is in this Nagini color. If I end up deciding to use it with a different color. Let's see. And then the other jelly white that I have is from Pahlish. It's called Bright Stars. I've used it multiple times lately. I did it in that cloud manicure, and I did it in another couple of things. This one is more sheer. It would be better layered with the glitter rather than mixed, I think, to keep it from getting too sheer. The one on the far right, the Nagini color, this one, yeah. Sorry, that's super washed out. Come on, there we go. And this one, I need to shake it up though because it's a little settled. But we haven't looked at my Crelly options yet either. The white Crellys with green. So my options there are oh, I do also have this Noodles Nail Polish color that's green with gold flakies called Lucky Charm. I forgot to show you that swatch stick, but that is a definite option as well. It's a little bit more of a Kelly green. I quite like, if you're comparing just the green flaky ones together, the flakiness of them is very similar. But, come on, focus please. The green flakiness of them is very similar, but the tone of green is obviously different. One of them's darker. You can see the color difference there, even though it's not in focus. Come on. Goodness gracious. That is taking forever. There we go. So I might end up doing a gradient with these, with the flakies. That's a possibility. Okay. I'm liking that idea, actually. The Crellys, though, that I was looking at. We also have... I was not looking at these earlier. I should have pulled them out when I pulled out the other ones. Pep Nail Vibes is a new brand. It's made by the same gal who makes the Society Wet Polishes that I have that I really enjoy, but she started a different brand for her Crellys for some reason. Probably just for different marketing tone. There's this one. It's white with green with a little bit of pink in there too. That feels very spring to me. I could use this as a base if I wanted to do something else green as a design over the top. And the formula on this was really good. I enjoyed painting it for the swatch. So that's an option. She also has this called Irish Eyes. It's a Crelly that has flakies and shard glitter, or shard glitter and regular glitter. I can't tell if they're flakies or shard glitter right now because I'm trying to not look around the camera. That one has kind of the treasure inside of the gold in a more chunky kind of a way. But I don't like that as well as I like these flakies. So I'm going to say no to that one. Not that. And then, let me get out my whites. Before we look at all of these together. I love white Krellies. Look. Oh, they're all just getting washed out. No, that's so sad. Oh boy. Okay, let me turn down the white balance. If we're going to be looking at white. No, that's not going to help. Exposure. Down, please. There. Now you can actually see them. We've got a lot of white Krellies with lots of things in them. Some of them are Christmas toned, like this one. Some of them are Halloween themed. Some of them are like red, white, and blue. Some of them are like rainbow party. So one of my thoughts also was to possibly do like a rainbow in the form of a rainbow glitter polish Krelly alongside a green Krelly. We'll see. Let's find the ones that are St. Patrick's-ish first. This is the one I had last year. It's called Clover Sprinkles. It's a white Krelly with gold and green. And then we have the rainbow options. This one here, KB Shimmer Oh Splat, is just rainbow glitters in a... I don't really like half moons all that much, praise. They're okay, but I would have to test them to see if I was okay with them in this manicure. If you're talking about doing a rainbow along the half moon curve, maybe. Again, I would have to see how I feel about it. One color per... That would only be 5 colors, though. Fake rainbow. Not really. Real rainbow. And then the other two, I told you I have several that are this idea of the green in the Krelly. This one has green and gold. This one also has green and gold, and you can see that it's green right now, but it actually is a thermal. This is the one that is white when it's warm. This is my ghetto way of changing the color of a thermal. When I'm doing my swatches and stuff. It turns white when it's warm, and it turns even cooler green and more saturated green than this when it's cool. So this is a possibility. And then this one is Pampered Polish called It's Clover, and it has a bunch of different kinds of green glitters in the white Krelly base. Is that weird flash in the camera happening for you right now? Anybody? And if so, I'm very sorry. It doesn't say I'm dropping very many frames or anything right now. I don't know why it's doing that. So this is also an option. I like the different tones of green. There's some that are more blue toned and some that are more yellow toned and some that are a little bit more neon and some that are a little bit more pastel. In here, there's a better mix, a more varietous mix of greens in that one. Okay. Like I said, though, before we get to making any decisions, let's do some testing with that greenish goldish one and the jelly whites. So now let me move you back up here. And let's change the white balance back again. Look how dark that is. There. And my rose palette can be cleaned off. so that I can use this. You like the green and gold more than the rainbow speckles. Hi, Luke. Welcome. We're deciding what I'm doing for St. Patrick's Day. I'm probably not actually painting my nails today. I'm just doing testing and stuff. Right now I'm cleaning off my little palette from the rose design that I did last week so that we have room to do a little bit of testing with, actually I didn't grab that color. Give me just a second. Where did I put that brand? I have all of my polishes sorted by color within their brand, and I have the brands organized by how many polishes in that brand I have. And Creative Cuticles, I think I only have 3 or 4 polishes from them, which means if I have 3 polishes from them, they're in here. And if I have 4 polishes from them, then they're on a different shelf, so I need to find them. I just reorganized a little bit ago. And I moved some stuff around. I think they are up on that other shelf because they're not in here. What are you up to tonight, Luke? While I'm going and finding this. Gosh. Mostly lurking in people's streams. Yes, that sounds about right. I don't know where this polish is, you guys. I know that I have it, and I know that it's somewhere on this shelf. It's not there, that's all Zoya. It's not there, that's all China Glaze. That is KB Shimmer and Polish, Revlon, Contoured Polish, Night Owl Lacquer, Noodles Nail Polish, Pampered Polishes, Native Warp Paints, Wet and Wild. Oh, I bet you it's down here. No, it's not. That's Rogue Lacquer and 1850 and Le Polish. Okay, and I know it's not over here because I don't have enough of them. OPI, China Glaze, Sally Hansen, Essie, Moonshine Manny. Here it is. I found it. Creative Cuticles, Knock on Wood. That's the name of the polish. And it's got the greens and the golds and the browns. Let's see. You guys can't see what I'm getting into over there. That polish cupboard is where I found it. Okay, so let's start off with a layering approach. Let's put down some of the Bright Stars color. Let me change my focus so that it's set to focus down here. If I can actually adjust it. Come on, little clicky thing. That makes it difficult. It like the focus plate, it's like right in between 2 bits. There we go. That's okay. Let me see if I can maybe zoom him in a little bit too. We're doing our testing right there for now. There. Nope. Went a little bit too far. There. Okay, so we're going to put down some of this. Do you see how sheer that is? This one, Bright Stars? It's quite sheer. That's why it worked so well in that cloud manicure, because I was able to build it up and make multiple layers. And then we'll do this other one, Contrary Polish Cloud, which will not focus because it's not in the set focus area that I put it in. And do you see this one? Even though it's still not super opaque, it is much more opaque than that one. So we'll see how they behave as a layered sort of a jelly sandwich kind of a feeling. Let's wait for that to dry, and then let's test out these as a gradient. Let me grab my sponges. So we have a sponge. Doing gradients with flakies can be tricky because sometimes the flakies don't want to go where you want them to go. This is just extra polish that I'm getting rid of to make room for our little gradient spot. So here's the Lucky Charm color and here's the Nagini color. Let's put down a little bit of the Nagini as a base for it to build on in one area, and then we'll do a base of Lucky Charm next to it so that we can test both and see how they perform on top of each other and decide which one we want to be the base. That's kind of uneven. Let me do some editing there. That's good enough. Okay. You can see the flakies pretty well there. Let's do some of the glitter on these. They're dry enough that it won't smear when I apply it. Now, just the glitter on top of the white would not be my cup of tea. It might be really awesome for some people, but it's too glittery for me. That is going to have white put on top of it to make it more like a jelly sandwich, so that it is peeking through the white rather than being on top and being super shiny. Of course, I could put a more opaque white underneath as well if I were to do this on my actual nails. I could put a more opaque white and then the glitter and then the jelly white on the top so that I don't have to do as many coats of the jelly white to make it opaque. Now I just gotta wait a little bit for that to dry. I'll take another sip of my this. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Orange Vanilla. It's pretty good. It's got a kind of a, I think I was saying earlier, a creamsicle sort of a vibe to it, which I enjoy. I still have not found, speaking of ice cream related concepts, I still haven't found the Halo Top popsicles anywhere. Oops, boy, did I just move my whole camera around? Sorry, guys. I did not mean to grab that. Did that move around on stream? I bet you it did. That's funny. Okay, let's see if this is dry enough. No, not at all. What am I doing? Boy, that apparently is taking much longer to dry than I was anticipating. Okay. Now I put it back, so it's fine now again. I have my camera settings box for this camera here, so I can adjust the zoom and stuff. And it's next to the wrong part of the screen that I accidentally grabbed and didn't mean to grab. I'll move it over to the other side and then I can't grab it on accident. I wish that this was a little easier to focus, because I just go right past the place where it's focused because the slider doesn't want to stay in the spot. There, that's okay. I've got multiple things drying. That's fine, praise. Enjoy your lurkiness. Okay, so here we go with putting some of this over the top. I like the way that that subdues the glitter, but now it just looks gold and brown. You can't see the green like at all through that. I think it might be because the green glitters are all small glitters. Let me look at this. Yeah. Let me get the swatch stick. Where did I put the swatch stick? Hum. You guys, I don't know where I put the swatch stick. I just had it like 2 seconds ago. Oh, it's hiding behind here. Aha, I found it. I'm pretty sure that all of the green glitters are small glitters. Yeah, and all of the more medium-sized ones, let me see. All of the green glitters are little. Come on, please, focus. That's not doing it. Let me zoom out again. All of the green glitters are small, and the larger glitters are the gold ones and the brown ones. There are some smaller gold ones and smaller brown ones too, but when I put the white jelly over the top of that, you really can't see the green. It doesn't shine through as much, so it ends up just looking golden brown. So that's probably going to end up the same on this other one too, which was with Contrary Polish Cloud, which is more opaque. So it's probably going to even show less of the green. Yeah, this one you'd have to mix with that topper to make a crelly. You can barely see the glitters just looking through it like that. Ugh, that white balance is not good. You can't really see. There we go. You can't really see the glitters. So I'm going to try mixing the two to see if the green can show through that way. Like I'm just going to put a one drip of each and mix it and spread it and see how that works. Otherwise, we're going to have to abandon this idea because the green is really the St. Patrick's-y part. We'll do 2 drops since I accidentally got 2 drops of the glitter. And then we'll just mix it with a stick and see how it looks. Let's see. Where is my... I have a stick that's just a stick. Here it is. It's a stick that's just a stick. It used to be a brush, but then the ferrule fell off, so now it's just a stick. I use it sometimes for dots if I want a particularly this sized shaped dot. So if you mix them together, that does show the green a little bit more. But it still is primarily gold. So I'm feeling like that's a no. Pardon my dirty paper towel, by the way. I didn't feel like it was worth it to get out a new one. And then, let's see, are these dry enough to test? This one is for sure. That one almost is. This Noodles Nail Polish dries a lot faster than the polish, which is interesting. Different brands, different dry times. Sorry, let me get my hair out of the way for a minute. I don't have... I just need it off my neck. There. That's a little better. Let's get our sponge going for this. And adjust this. And so there's this lighter green. And I'm going to overlap them a little bit, but not a ton. I already know that the darker green is more opaque than the lighter green, just in general. Sorry if the focus changes too much. We might end up with too much flaky to be able to see. Wow, look at that. That's just all gold. If I sponge it, you can't really see the color at all. What I ended up doing, I did a gradient with two of the other polishes in this set. Wild Rushes, which is a darker green, and Rusalka, which is a sort of a navy blue. And what I ended up doing was just kind of dry brushing them together in the middle because the sponging didn't work super great, and I had forgotten that. So hang on a second, let me grab that darker green. Pardon me for bumping the camera. It's almost like a gray, this one, the Wild Rushes color. Focus, please. Yeah, but it has the same flakies. So that's not really an option for the St. Patrick's Day look, but I can use the techniques possibly here. So yeah, the sponge is definitely not going to work. That is just too gold. So let's try doing a second layer of this, and then we'll do some of this on the other side. The light green, the Nagini color, is translucent enough that I can use it to help blend the two. So there, the blend is already starting to happen pretty well. And then if I do a little bit of the lighter green over the top again, I probably will be able to get it even more of a smooth transition. We'll see. I gotta let it dry before I can do that, though. Even though this doesn't work for St. Patrick's Day, I still like that. Just as a crelly sort of a look. To have the kind of foresty tones in there. That is nice. I'm debating. I'm debating. If I wanted to, I don't just want to do the gradient on all of my nails. I feel like I want to do it in conjunction with something else. Let me look at my clear toppers, because I don't think I have a rainbow glitter. I mean, I do have the polish that I'm wearing on my nails right now, which is multi-chrome. I think they're multi-chrome flakes in a rainbow variety. Please focus. Thank you. You can see green and a little bit of orange and pink and blue. Over the bare nail, they don't really show that much. But that really is the only thing that I have that has rainbow elements as a clear topper. Painted Polish just came out with one. I was considering getting it. My considerations increase as I realize that I don't have that already. Although, we could look through all of my other swatches, because I might have gotten one like that and not be remembering it, because I might have gotten it in like last year at some point. Let's check that actually. I'm gonna sit back like this, I think, while I do it though. Here are the swatches that need to be organized. And let's bring the camera down here. Looking for a rainbow something. Yell stop if you see one. I've got... See, this one also I was really hoping to put into that green gradient, but it's got too much of a blue undertone. This polish I got as a free polish, and I know someone else would love it way more than me. It's this really blingy pink thing. This one also is a freebie. I'm looking for something rainbow. Got lots of greens. This I wore and posted several weeks ago. It is a white with green flakies. And it's got a kind of a cream sort of a tone to some of the other flakies that are in here too. Sorry, let me bring the light this way so you can see better. It is called Goddess of the Wild. I really like this color. It is so pretty and beautiful. And I might figure out how to work it into this. Let's put it up there for future consideration. I have to remember which of the swatch sticks I have not photographed yet. Because the ones that are up here in that tin, I have not photographed yet and are not in my app yet for organization purposes. But all the ones that are in here and the other ones that are in that box have been photographed. So I'll just have to look up the polish names in the app before I put the swatch sticks away. This is a green, but it's definitely a Christmas green because it's got red and white in with it. It's called This Ain't No Grinch. But it's not rainbowy enough. And it definitely is much too Christmassy for St. Patrick's Day. And we have a lot. We have a lot. Let's just be honest about it. This, I think, would be a really cool color to use as like the sun in a like if I did a solar system design or something. Ooh, whoa, look at the color change that just happened. Why did you do that, camera? To have the nail that was the sun be this, it's called Polish M Countdown to Candy. So obviously it was like a Halloween inspired polish, but I think it's very fiery. I need to send that. Okay. I have an extra of this yellow polish that I don't want to keep, and one of the nail people that I know broke her bottle of it and said that she wanted... What happened here? Look, there's polish on this. Oh, when I was doing my rose design and I thought that the polish that I'd knocked over didn't get on anything. It got on this singular swatch stick. Did it get on any of the actual swatches? I don't think it did. That's lucky. And if I try to take this off with acetone, it will cloud up the swatch stick plastic. So I'm just going to scrape it off really quick with my thumbnail. Because I don't have non-acetone remover, and I'm going to have to finish doing that later. This foliage and flannel is another, it's like a really dark green. So it's more of like a, almost leaning toward a teal, very slightly. But it has gold flakes in it too. That's very pretty. But I don't think it goes into the gradient. Maybe it goes into the gradient? I'm going to try and see if it goes into the gradient. The flakies are a little bit of a different tone of flakies. They're not as bright gold, and they've got a little bit more of a coppery sort of a flaky in there too. But I can try that. That's not the rainbow something that we were looking for, but it is something something. Oh, and I also have this that I wanted to try. It's called Shamrock Your World, which is also a green with flakies. Why didn't I pull that one out to look at? I don't remember why I didn't pull that one out. Okay, well, I guess we've got more options for greens then. This is a very interesting thermal. It goes from this red color with flakies when it's cold to a very bright green when it's warm. Look at the cat. There she is. She's a pretty, pretty girl. Oh, where are you going? Right out of frame. She's a good girl. Trying to warm this up so you can see the green tone. It's just becoming a sort of a murky color in the middle. There we go. There you can see the green a little bit. It's cooling down again as soon as I had it between my lips trying to make it warm. That's why I'm not talking. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's not actually being warmed by my skin, so it's not turning the full green, but it's a very interesting Christmas polish. It's called I'm Feeling by Night Owl Lacquer. It's a Grinch-based polish. Here's that Rusalka color, the blue one with the gold flakies that I was talking about earlier. Same kind of flaky, different color in the base. Alright, well, it looks like my options do not exist. So no, I don't have a rainbow something in this box anyway. There's some more in here that we can look through. But if not, then we're going to have to just either paint a rainbow or not have a rainbow piece. Which is okay. I mean, I did a pretty blatant rainbow for St. Patrick's Day last year. I don't think you were here for that part, Luke. I showed a picture of my St. Patrick's Day nails from last year, which involved a clover water marble and a hand-painted rainbow, along with the Pahlish Coloris de Carol clover sprinkles as a background and a coordinating polish. Okay, not seeing anything rainbow here either, but I did find this polish, which I had forgotten was an option, which is called Avocado Fetish, which is a very light green. Please focus. It's a very light green with green and kind of gold and a little bit of blue glitters in it too. So I'll put that up there as an option, as a possibility. This polish I really enjoy. It's called Weaver of the Woods, but it's a little bit too muted of a green for St. Patrick's Day, I think. I did think about that one and decided not to use it. This one I really like. It's also in my top greens. This is Heather's Hues Grounded, if I can get the angle right so that it will focus and show the shimmer. But the shimmer is a little bit more coppery, and the flakies are a little bit more coppery as well. So it's not super gold, which would be what I would go for. Oh boy, that's the theme from the old version of, oh gosh, I don't remember the name of that movie. It's the one where the guy's neighbor is a vampire, and his villainous theme is dun 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 dun. Why is that in my head, huh? I don't know. Yeah, nothing rainbowy. This is the swatch of a different gold flaky that I have from Beyond the Nail, which I might use as a topper possibly, but probably not. We shall see. Alright, let's get back to these over here. And I think it's dry enough. Yep, it is. So let's bring the camera back this way. And not be idiots and put our hands in Crelly polish. Hang on. She's such a little loaf. My sweet, sweet loaf. Yes, you're a sweet, sweet loaf. I just put my hand right into one of our tests. And look at all that glitter that it's leaving behind. That knock on wood polish. Oi. I'm just gonna have to, there we go. Just brush it off on something and it'll get rid of the glitters. Okay, so we need to add a little bit more of this Nagini into this blend and see how that looks. It's such a sheer color that it really does help. It's not super sheer because obviously 3 coats does make it opaque. But if you kind of just dry brush it a little bit over the other color, it can help to blend them together really well. You can see there, I'm pretty happy. I'll move the light again a little bit for you. There we go. You can see the blend there, pretty smooth. some of this out though and see what kind of gold this one looks like right next to it. Because it could be that this could be a transition in between the two. The gold flakes in that are a lot smaller and a lot less bright. Do you see they've got a little bit more of an orangey tone to the gold? Both of these have a much brighter, lighter kind of gold flaky. Okay, and then this other painted polish color, the foliage, flannel and foliage. It is super beautiful, but you can see there, all of the flakies are kind of more copper toned and reddish. Oh, that's so pretty though. Oh, yes. That's just like fall in a bottle. I love that, but it doesn't feel St. Patrick's-y to me, so that's a no-go on that one. And this one, the flakies don't blend well enough with the other ones to be by themselves in the gradient, but it could be a good like if I decided not to do the gradient, it could be a good alternative. I like the gradient though. Decisions. I am so torn. You know what I could do is do something reciprocally with the gradient. I could do some sort of clover design possibly over top of the gradient, or I could do a clover in like a cream polish over the gradient and just have the gradient be a background. That's a thought. In that case, what color green would I use for my clover? Well, if I were using a cream. Let's see. We've got a lot of greens here to look at. These ones are all too light. This one I also considered. It's called Beignets. It's a New Orleans related polish. But it was a little bit too similar in tone to some of the other ones that I preferred, so I didn't. If I'm going for there's the swatch of the Shamrock Your World that we just put out. You can see the flakies there a little bit too. Moonshine Manny Weeping Willow is a really pretty color of green. I use this for leaves a lot. And that would be a good color for a shamrock in general. Would it be a good color over the gradient? Possibly. We'll have to get that one out and test it. The other question. This over here. This is a very cloverish kind of a green as well. But I think it might be slightly too blue toned. No, okay, that actually isn't bad. Let me grab that one. Look at the way the bottle is settling though. Look at all that yellow in the bottom. Ugly bottle syndrome. Boy, let's shake it. My big cat, she's a precious lump. Look at her be sweet and cute. Gotta shake. Shake all the things. Make sure it's all blended up. Let's let's test this over top of that as a little clover. So let me get out a brush. She's a good girl. Yes, Amber is a good girl. She's so good. Look at her stretch. Now she's just letting me scratch her butt, which is not something you want to see. And she's going around to see James instead. Okay. Yeah, I love you too. Oh, no, never mind. She's coming back to lay down. Are you going to sit? Yeah, but just out of frame. There. That's my phone. What about it? She's so silly. Oh, the big kitten yawn. Look at her be so sweet. The pretty, pretty girl. Yes, I love you too. She's a good one. He's a good cat break. Yeah. What a happy girl. What a happy girl. So sweet, so good, so happy. I love her big smiley face. She's such a good girl. Her sweetness and her cheeks. And her sweetness and her ears. They're so soft. So soft, big cat. So soft. Yes. Please don't rip the chair with your little kitty feet. I don't appreciate that. Oh, yes. Alright. Yeah, you sit there. I'm going to start doing my clovers. Okay. See, I am so... Look at all this flaky whatever's going on over here. That actually is kind of cool, but not as a gradient between colors. But maybe we could do that with one color and then go for a more gold gradient where it goes from like this color to gold or this color to gold instead of transitioning between both colors on every nail. That is also an option. An option indeed. Alright, let's do some shamrock things. A lot of people do 4-leaf clovers for St. Patrick's Day, which is not like a bad thing, but apparently shamrocks are specifically not 4-leaf clovers. They're just regular three-leaved clovers. Someone was talking to me about that the other day, so let's start out with just a little 3-leaf clover. I gotta make the leaves as even as I can, and then if I make one of them slightly bigger, that means they all have to get bigger. Grumble, grumble. And then going right down. Like that's not bad. That's an okay clover. The trouble with that is, can I do that with 2 hands? The other hand. Let's find out. Do I have enough room? I don't think I do. But the top part is less important than the leaves. I mean the stem part, the bottom part, is less important than the leaves. Gosh. Okay, that's a little bit chonkier than I really want it to be. It might be easier with a dotting tool. I know a lot of people do heart sort of shapes with dotting tools, and clover leaves are kind of heart-shaped. If you're going for this more stylized kind of clover design. Like, that's not too bad, but it's a little bit lumpier. Thanks, Luke. Oh gosh. You know, it's not bad. It's not necessarily the most, like, perfect clover that I was envisioning. It's like what Colette says, you know, it's good, but it's not necessarily exactly what I was envisioning, and so I've got problems with it. Oh boy. Okay, let me try it with a dotting tool and see how I feel about that. The last time I tried to do hearts with a dotting tool, I was only marginally successful. I felt like I wasn't getting the right, like, when you're supposed to, like, pull the dot to make it into the heart shape. And I felt like that part was kind of hard to do evenly. I'm just doing the dots first, and then I'll go back in with the brush and pull the ends together. You can't really see the bumps on that because I layered it over top of the other stem because I'm running out of room. Oh boy. Ugh, I've got a really bad glare at that angle. Sorry guys, can you still see that? Yeah, okay. A glare for me in person, which means I can't really paint it if I can't see what in the world I'm doing. Okay, that kind of ran into each other a little bit too much on that side, but I don't know, I feel like that's too chunky compared to the first one. I like the first one better. Look at the sweet big one. Let's put you in frame again, my darling. Let's get some more testing surface area out. I just want to lighten this. I mean, we could even layer if we wanted a color that was between these two. The painted polish and the polish. I could layer the Nagini color over the top of the Shamrock Your World, and that is giving us way too much glare and not enough good white balance. There we go. That's better. It's kind of in the mid-tone. I wonder what color we'd get. Let me try that too, if we layered Nagini over the other one. Like, we have that color in the transition between the two, but we don't have it just by itself. For comparison purposes. Like, to go for this color, this mid-tone color where the Nagini goes over the top. My cat is so pretty. She's a sweet, sweet girl. Right. Let's see how I feel about the dotting tool with the left hand, if it's easier. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not ready for the brush because I said I wanted to try the dotting tool first. Is this the same dotting tool I had? I thought I had a white one. Did I grab the green one instead? Am I crazy? Yeah, I am crazy. Okay, because the white one's still in the bucket. They were next to each other and I grabbed a different one than the one I thought I grabbed. My problem might be that this dotting tool is slightly too large. And therefore is making the clover slightly larger than I want it to be if I'm keeping things separate. Let's try it with the smaller end as well. Like I said, the stem part isn't really all that important to me because it's just a stem hanging off the bottom. If I can get the leaves looking the way I want in my practices, I know on the real one that the stem will turn out fine. My voice is getting kind of gravelly. It was gravelly yesterday when I was talking to my parents too. Streaming is not good. I am not practicing good vocal hygiene. Oh, I'm doing that with the wrong hand. Autopilot goes to dominant hand. I don't feel like this is easier with the dotting tool. I feel like it's the same level of difficulty. But it also has an equally fine result. That's not bad. With the left hand, that little clover on the bottom there, I would curve the stem more. But that actually is pretty consistent with the first one that I painted fully. Let's see how the one on the other clover goes. Yeah, that side of the dotting tool is too large because this clover is like a big ol' honkin' whomper. So if I were going to use the dotting tool, I would use the smaller side. Let's do our layer of Nagini over here. So there we have the pure Shamrock Your World color right there. And then Nagini layered over the top of Shamrock Your World with a pretty thin layer, and then Nagini by itself, and then blending into. I kind of like this intermediary color. So if I did do the blend, I might end up doing mostly the one and not the other. Thoughts, feelings, and opinions. We're not going to use this, though. Pardon me, that's not Shamrock Your World. That is Lucky Charm. I used the wrong color name. I apologize. This that we are not using is Shamrock Your World, which is a very pretty color, but doesn't blend as well with the flakies. So, we're not using it. I need to go get myself another drink. This is gone, and I am still thirsty, and I feel like I need to do some throat lubrication. So, look at this sweet big cat loaf, and I'll be right back. Oh, you're so pretty, big cat. Look at you being cute. Oh, come on, big cat. Did you feed them dinner?
What?
Did you feed the cats dinner?
No.
Okay, I'm going to do that really quick.
Are you done?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna feed my cats dinner. I'll be right back. Yes. Alright, so Big Cat's off and eating dinner. So, let's get back to painting after I take a drink. Using a tool to open my soda rather than my nail. Good for your nails. Do not do them unkind things. I need to test this idea of the flaky gradient. I would use this, the Goldsmith Top Coat, if I were doing that to sponge with. And I have an area here where I can test it with that color. And I have the area where I layered them to test for that color. I need to create an area where Nagini is by itself so I can test with that color. Where did my sponge go? Ugh. This side is all dry. Do you see how it's crusty and dry and doesn't want to bend when I do that? So this side still is soft and whatever, and that's the side I'm going to use for testing. If I were actually doing it on my nail, I would trim that off. I do like this arm better than wearing it on my neck though, because I can change the angle better, faster, and it doesn't feel like it's pulling on me. That might be, it might be better to do a little bit of this first to kind of help transition. The transition between the two there is kind of abrupt. It might be something to like mask off an area and do the gold flake. Sponging in a blocked off area. Possible, possible, possible. We do need to get out another lid though, because this one's getting full up. Here's another lid. It's not fully clean. We're just testing things. We don't need it to be fully clean. Now, I don't need any of these areas to be larger than my nail for like design testing purposes, but if I'm doing more than one thing on a color, I might as well just do one swath rather than a bunch of little spots. You see how sheer this is? This Nagini color, when it's just by itself? That's why it's able to kind of change the color of that other green when it goes over it without completely changing it. And this one is much more opaque. It's still not completely opaque. It does still need 2 coats, but it's much more opaque. You know, even though the flakies are similar in these, they're not exactly the same. This one, the flakies are very slightly larger, and they have a little bit more, please focus, they have a little bit more of a tendency to curl a little bit, and create some shadowed elements that make it look slightly darker. And then this one actually does have some slightly darker flakies, so they end up looking the same, even though they're different in the way that they create that effect. I think that's funny. I'm still trying to decide. You know, I think I'm gonna get out that Crelly with the rainbow glitters and see how I feel about, like, I'm kind of picturing like the nail with like a stripe of the white Crelly with the rainbow glitters and then green on either side. And that might look really awful when I do it, but I want to test it and see how I feel about it. Yeah, let me go grab it. Oh, splat. It's a KB shimmer color, just a white Crelly with rainbow glitters in it. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. All of the traditional rainbow colors. So let's put out a blob of this too. There aren't as many purple, I don't think, as there are red. We're getting red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple in the bigger swath, but there's only 2 or 3 purples over the whole area. Let's do a second coat over here, because this one is dry. That looks fine. And then I don't think Nagini is fully dry, but it's dry enough to do a second coat. I really do like the spring tone of this, though. It's not necessarily like traditionally Kelly Green St. Patrick's Day, wow, but it's a nice springy green that does have a bunch of gold with it. And you can see, even on that second coat, that's pretty opaque, even though it was super sheer. Like, there's a little bit of sheerness, particularly on this edge where I did a slightly thinner coat, but it's okay in 2. You know, without, like, if you're careful, which is weird because it's so sheer on the first coat. But, you know, whatever. Oh, Mom, you've been sending me texts to communicate because you're not in chat. I'm sorry if I missed those. Are you still here? I like camo too, Mom, but for this particular design it feels too pickly. You do like the green. Which one? The lighter one or the middle toned one? Or the combination of the 2 together? Let's do another coat of Oh Splat. That's not fully dried. Yeah, I like the darker one too. It feels more quintessentially St. Patrick's-ish. It's a little bit more clovery. My mom says she likes the darker green slightly better. I like the way that the glitters in Crellies layer up over each other so you can see some of them through the previous layers. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about that with green. It looks like a cream in the video. Oh, goodness. Okay. This lighter green, it's not a cream. There is more of a yellowish greenish tone to it that is not necessarily coming across on camera then. Like I was saying about this other one, this one is almost neon. And it doesn't look neon on camera. There's something about the color accuracy that's missing that brighter yellowish part of green in the brighter, lighter colors. I don't know if I can get a swatch picture. Let me see if I can. And put it in chats. Oh, Mom, you're not in chat though. So you wouldn't be able to click the link. I could text you the link. Hang on. Let me see if I can find a swatch picture of it. So that you can see what the actual tone of it is. It looks like it could color adjust to green. Yes, it could. Let me find... Some of the swatch pictures are not... Some of them are too vibrant. This one is pretty good. There. That's the one, the lighter green, the Nagini color. Let me... If anybody else in chat wants to see it, let me know and I'll post the link in chat too. It's a little bit lighter. Like, it's got... Now that you see the swatch picture, can you imagine how this could be that in person? I don't know. Yeah, it's green. I told you it's green. It's like a springy green. This green, the Lucky Charm color, is very slightly yellower than it's showing on camera too. Not a huge amount. That one is a lot more color accurate than this one. So... okay. I have to decide what I want to do. I have to decide. I need to let this finish drying so I can try green around the edges of it. And I need to... See, this is why having naked nails when testing polishes is helpful, because you can actually just try something on your nail really quick and not like try to do it nicely, but just test it out to see how it feels and looks in the confines of a nail space. But I don't know. I gotta let it dry for just another second or two before I start putting green over top, otherwise I'm gonna run into trouble. Let's see how if I just use the brush, I could gradate into a stronger gold without using the sponge. Less sponge. Those gold flakes, when they're not inside of the other polish, have a different tone to them. Hang on, they might not actually. They were released together, but they might not be the same kind of flakes. Possibly, possibly, possibly. I don't know. Let's see. If I use Nagini over the darker green, we might be able to primarily just... No, if we did Nagini with the sponge, maybe. Here, let me use this side of the sponge. To just deposit the flakies and pick up most of the color. I don't know. I don't think that works very well. I think you can see too much of the base color. Okay, the white balance is trying to go crazy on me. Hang on. Do I have... Yes, I do. So please be normal. Thank you. You can see there, even though it did deposit the flakies off of the sponge, it also left a very slight cast of that lighter green color with it. Let's add a little bit more of this to continue the gradation. That actually gets pretty much to gold. So going from green through to gold. I don't like that as well. Possibly. The other is better. Which other, Mom? The plain gold as opposed to the Nagini? Okay, and then here is Nagini transitioning from itself into a more gold swath. I feel like on a nail, that could work. It's a little bit more show-stopping, though. Alright, let's try green on the sides of this. I think it's dry enough. It's not sticking to my finger. I would use striping tape or something so that the edge is really straight and clean if I did this. Yeah, very glittery. I agree. It's a little bit much. Of all the ideas we've tried so far, the gradient with the clover over top I'm liking the best. Yeah. I'm sorry that this white lid is throwing everything off. I will have to remember that for the future to not use white lids because it's trying to like white balance everything into oblivion. Like there's the focus, please. The rainbow glitter with green on the sides. I kind of don't like that. I feel like something negative space with the glitter, with the rainbow glitter peeking through could be cool, but not with this green. And I don't want to go around finding another green when I have a design that I'm already kind of okay with in the form of the clover. Let's see how reciprocal gradients go with the other. It looks like there's a space, Mom, for you to have sent me something, but there isn't anything actually in the space. It's like the text that you sent before is higher up. You agree. Okay. I don't know why it like left a space like you'd sent me something and I couldn't see it. Let's try reciprocal gradient here. We have these two colors right next to each other, so let's make this into a gradient area so I can test the reciprocal gradient. For those of you who don't know what a reciprocal gradient is, it's a gradient that goes one way and then you make another layer of the design where the gradient goes the opposite direction. So you have, sorry, I'm trying to start blending those without actually getting too much dark green on this brush. You would have like purple starting on this side going to green on this side with blue in the middle, right? And then you would tape off part of the design so it would show through, and then you would do it the other direction so that purple's on this side and green is on this side, and then it kind of opposites as it goes across. So half of the design is going one direction and half the design is going the other direction. Does that make sense? I don't have any clover decals, I don't think. Let me check. I don't think I do. I have... Good, okay. I have... okay. I have these, which were a free sample decal. If I can get it to focus at that angle, you can see the lines. The little ones with 4 bumps could be turned into clovers. But I only have 2 of them because it was just a sample, which means I would only be able to do 1 accent nail for each hand. I have stars, I have leaves, I have oak leaves. I have little cats that were also a sample. Snowflakes. I know I don't have any stamping plates with clovers, but I do have more decals in here, so hang on. More. That's what I'm saying, Mom. I don't think I have any clovers. I have hearts and cats that say meow. I have little honeybee, honeycomb sort of design. I have this one that's kind of similar to the one that we just looked at, but less able to be turned into clovers because all of them have some pointy element. I have puzzle pieces, I have stars and stripes, I have playing card swoot designs, some weird cube things. Some of these little ones are samples, so I only have a couple of those as well. No clovers. So if I'm going to do clovers, I'm either going to have to Frankenstein it out of that mini one, which I don't want to do because I think it would be too difficult and too convoluted, or freehand them. So that's what I'm probably going to do, is freehand them. Oh, the big cat's back. There she is. She's a cute, cute cat. Yeah, I'm considering pots of gold. Praise was considering or asking about doing like a half moon something with gold. I don't have any pre-made stencil-y stamp related anything that could be that though. So the only way to do those would be to paint them. Like, for example, let me show you my stamping plates. I've got a lot of stamping plates. I do have a lot of leaf-related ones, but not any clovery leaf-related ones. Excuse me, I know I just turned the camera back onto myself to start going backwards and not showing you my face. Okay. This one is bugs and spider webs. That's French tip something something. Some hearts and some leaves. Oh no, there are some clovers. Look at that. I didn't even know. Do you see? There they are. But they're a very linear sort of a design that I don't really want to do. Today I learned about my own collection. I'm probably not going to use them though, Mom. These ones are, there's a bunch of leafy ones in here, but they're all more actual, like, botanical sketches. Like this one. There is one clover there as well. Sorry, you're getting the reflection of the camera right in your face. There's a clover. I actually kind of like him. We might try him as a stamp over the gradient rather than a freehand one, possibly. Thank you for incentivizing me to go look through these. This one has a lot of fruit sorts of designs. These blue ones have not been used before. They have the protective seal still on them. Hey, Praise. Yes, we are looking through to see if we have any clover stamps. That is what we are doing. Let's see. That's the animal print that I did for the crocodile nails that I did the other time. This one is a lot of fall-related things. I have a lot of fall-related stamping plates because that's what sucks me in, because that's what I love. But none of them are cloverish. This one is letters and numbers and things. I was complaining about the backs of stamping plates the other day. If the glue that you're using to hold your back on your stamping plate is acetone solvent, that means it's going to touch acetone and then it's going to peel off and then it's going to look like this, which I don't appreciate. Nope. This one has a lot of cool layering designs. Like, you put these together to make a tree. You know, you do this color to fill in and then you use that color to outline. But it doesn't have any clovers. This is my ideal back. No, not that one. Sorry. This kind, where it's just plain white plastic on the back. I'm not seeing clovers. Lots of leaves, but no clovers. Except for that one. And the other one with the linear sort of design. This one has got a lot of interesting textures on it. This one makes me think of you, Dad. Because it's got a deer. Nope. Well, the big cat's turning her face toward us again. Here she is. Very sweet, very cute, very big cat. This one has also no clovers. Lots of leaves, but no clovers. I like the pine cone design here on this one. Let's see. Nope. There's a Scrabble something somewhere, but that's not related to what we're looking for. Yep, nope, that's it. That's the only clover. Okay. So now we need to decide that if we're stamping with that. I don't know, Mom, if you were here the last time we were talking about stampers. I damaged the body of my stamper. The lid got acetone spilled on it, and so I had to crack open the lid to get the... There are two, Praise. This one is the one we're going to try. Focus, please. Focus, please. It's trying to focus on its own reflection of itself. There we go. That one. There. You can see it. It's got a bunch of nice lines and things. Yeah, I like him. So, anyway, my favorite stamper head was in here, and I had to get it out by brute force. And then I taped it to the bottom to use, and that worked okay. And then I got a different stamper body that I could fit my favorite stamper head into, and so this is like a Frankenstein stamper. It's the head from this stamper and the body of a different stamper that's actually slightly smaller, so I can't actually put the lid on all the way. But it's squishier and it's stickier, so it picks up designs better than other stampers. Okay, let's get some tape. You cannot clean a clear stamper with acetone because it will damage the stamper head and make it cloudy. So you have to use an adhesive, like tape, to remove any leftover stamp residue off of the stamper head and to remove dust and things before you start. Yeah, they're super squishy. There are some that are really hard, like when stamping first became a thing. It does work, Mom. It works beautifully. When stamping first became a thing, stampers like this were the only kind, and they are a lot more firm. And they're not clear, they're just kind of rubbery. And then this is the first stamper I got as a prize, actually, in a YouTube giveaway from someone who no longer makes videos. And I got that one and another one. She was giving me two stampers. So I got this one and a clear one at the same time. So I never lived through having to not have the option of stamping with a clear stamper. But clear stampers really help because you're able to... Sorry, I'm going to clean this off before I show it to you because it's covered in cat hair. And they also had this kind of more opaque, squishy stamper that came after this kind. And then after these ones, which were great because they were squishy and you could get the design to transfer more smoothly. A cube slime? I don't even know what that is. They have clear stampers that you can see through when you're stamping. And some, like this one of the reasons I got this one to replace it is because you can push the bottom out so that you can really just see clearly through when you're stamping. So you can line up your designs really well. Do you see how this is very slightly too big, but I'm making it work? Get in there. Okay, so when you stamp on your nail, you can really see what you're doing. And the squishy ones are good because they pick up designs better. This one is, like I said, slightly sticky. Look, it tries to come with me. Oh no, you can't see. That's not on camera. I apologize. It tries to come with me. It tries to stick to me very slightly, which is good because that means it holds onto the polish when it's picking it up better. Oh, I'm sorry. Big kick got spooked. You're okay, sweetheart. Too spooky for me, she says. Oh, look, baby cat's back there. That's Char hanging out on the cat tree. Yeah, stampers are cool, Mom. Okay, so we got... I like to set up my tape this way so it has sticky going all the way around so that as I'm stamping I can remove excess stamp material on the tape and there's lots of surface area so I don't have to unroll more as I'm working. I'm just going to put it down here for now because we're just testing. I don't need to worry about fuzz too much. Let's bring this over here. We were using this color before. The Palm Deco color, the CND Palm Deco. I don't know how well this stamps or if it stamps at all because I haven't ever used it to stamp. So let's find out. And then if we find out that it doesn't stamp well, we can find a different color that's similar that might stamp better. Let me get a scraper to scrape with. Okay, let me get these open bottles of polish out of my way. We're not using that. We already decided. Let's see if this stamps. Well, it picks up okay. I don't know how opaque it is though. Voila. On shamrock. We could also do a reverse stamp where we fill in the stamp with another color. So we could get a darker green and then use the Palm Deco color to fill in the stamp. I'm leaning toward that idea. Let's see if I like it. What green should I use for the darker green? Sorry, I'm trying to... Thanks, Mom. Let me get out my wheel of greens again so I can figure out what color I want for my outline. Is Palm Deco even on this wheel? I don't think it is. Did I turn off auto white balance? No, I didn't. Why is it so dark right now? That's really weird. There. That's better. I still don't know what a cube slime is, Praise. Can you elaborate? Excuse me. Okay, we've got Essie off Tropic. That's kind of this darker, more blue-toned green that I could possibly use for the outline. This is not the rest of the greens, though. That's only the blue-toned greens. I've got my more yellow-toned greens here. Okay, so here is Palm Deco. That's the color we're using for the... that we used for the first swatch that we were using for the... Oh, yeah, okay. That's the color we were using for the interior. Do we have something that's darker that actually would stamp well in that color tone? I don't think that I do, because I have all these lighter ones, and then I have these darker ones, but they're a lot more, like this one is a 3, it takes 3 coats to be opaque. It's not going to be opaque enough to stamp with. This one is pretty similar in value. It's only very slightly darker, and it's more yellow toned. Please focus. Thank you. That one's okay. In person, they're much more similar in value, so I don't feel like that would be helpful. Okay, I was complaining about this the other day. Do you see this swatch stick? Do you see all this white powdery whatever? All of my Revlon swatches, doesn't matter the, there, I just cleaned it off, do that. They exude this white powdery something. And it doesn't matter what the finish is on the polish. Like, if it's metallic, it does it. If it's a cream, it does it. If it's a anything, it does it. It's so weird to me. Okay, yeah, I don't have any that would be dark enough on that. So it would have to be on this wheel, and we would be at yeah, it is really weird. I don't know. Like, all of them. And I have about 20 Revlon polishes. And Revlon is the brand that owns the Sinful Color brand of polishes, and the Sinful Color polishes don't do that. It's only the ones that are branded as Revlon, even though they're made by the same company. It's so bizarre. Okay, where's my Palm Deco swatch? Here it is. Okay, so there's Palm Deco. We're looking for an outline color. That one is a little bit similar in value, but slightly more blue toned. I need it to be darker. That one is a possibility, and it's a one coat polish, Zoya Wyatt. That's a good candidate, so I'm gonna go grab that one. This one would be a potential candidate as well, Zoya Constance, but it's a matte, which means it's gonna dry too fast and not work well. And then these ones are the Off Tropic color was the other one that I saw. So let me grab Essie Off Tropic and Zoya Wyatt so we can test outlines. And they're both up here. So, pardon me. There's Wyatt. And here's Off Tropic. You see how settled that gets in the bottle? All the blues at the top and all the yellows at the bottom. Shaka, 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 shaka. They make automated, like, polish shakers that you can, like, put the bottle of polish in and it will shake it for you. I have not tried them before. It would be less tiring than this. Yeah, it mixes fine. It's actually such a common occurrence with greens that a lot of people talk about ugly bottle syndrome. The bottle looks really ugly, but the polish is fine. Even once, you know, it still will look ugly. It will have the non-dispersed color along the edges, but the polish inside, once you shake it a little, will be fine. It'll apply no problem. Okay, so there's that. And this one has a little bit of ugly bottle syndrome the same way. Do you see how it's slightly yellower at the bottom and the darker is at the top? Not as dramatic though. But they are similar greens, so they probably use similar pigments. So they probably have a similar settling. Sorry if this hand noise is irritating. I'm just doing that. Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? Ugly bottle syndrome. Okay, let's get this out of the way. And let's get my Merry Christmas. Thank you, thank you. To anyone who didn't know, I was given this for Christmas. This little cotton swab grabber that I'm going to be using to cleaning my stamping plates. So, yes, I use it quite regularly, Mom. Thanks. Alright, let's try Off Tropic first. That actually picked up really well. Can you see that? Let's do our little fill-in with Palm Deco. Let me get out a little bit so I can paint. Reverse stamping is filling in the image with another color before you stamp it onto your nail. So I am filling in the clover with this other green, and then you have to wait for it to dry on the stamper a little bit, which is not normally the way that stamping works. Normally with stamping you need to go quickly so that the polish on the stamper will transfer to the polish on your nail before it dries. But when you're doing this, you can use a slightly tacky polish like Yellow Stopper, or apply your base color slightly after so that it's still tacky when you're ready to stamp after this has dried. If you don't wait for the color that you're using to fill in to dry fully, well, not fully, you want it to be slightly tacky, but not wet, because if you do it when it's wet, it's just going to scooge out all over and get outside of the lines. And this is a polish that takes 2 coats to be opaque typically. So I'm trying to get it just in one by being slightly dabby in my application so that it's leaving a little bit more color deposited behind. Okay, and then all of these little excess bits we can clean off with a little bit of tape. In just a second. Stealing some tape from my tape roll. So you just and then you just have the clover to stamp when you put it onto your nail. We have enough dryness here to work on this little blended area. Were you here, Mom, when I was trying out the sponge for this gradient and it totally did not work at all? Okay, so there it looks much more gradated than it did earlier with the sponge. And that's where we're going to test out our stamp. There, if you look from the back side, is what it looks like with the lines, with the green. Oh yeah, I tried to use, I was using these same 2 greens, the Nagini color and the Lucky Charm color that we are using in this blend. But I was using the sponge to use, you know, to do the gradient, and it just did this. It absorbed all the color and it only left behind the flakies, and it didn't blend at all. So I had done a blended, there's a couple of other colors I have that are in this finish from this brand that I had done a gradient just with the polish brush with. And so I knew that that was an option, so that's then the strategy that we switched to. Yeah, it's working fine. If I had not tested it before, I would have been a little more anxious about it and been like, oh no, what am I going to do? But I was able to remember, oh yeah, this will be okay. That was Essie off Tropic, the one that we tried just now. So let me clean this off. This holds more acetone in it, this cotton ball, than a Q-tip does, so I don't have to keep dipping it over and over, which is nice. But I do want to try the other color before I commit. So let's... That's too wet to stamp on still. So this is dry enough, but that's not dry enough, so I gotta wait another minute. It absorbs and digests living things. I know you said that a while ago, but I've just been kind of thinking about it. There's a lot of slime creatures in lots of different media that do similar things. I'm trying to remember the name of the one from that. I think there was one in a Zelda game, wasn't there, that sucks you in and tries to digest you. It's near that one pool area. Is that a Zelda game? Am I crazy? I don't remember. Alright, let's see if it's drier. I think that's dry enough. Wish me luck. There you can see the stamp. Alright. That came out nice. I like that. Obviously, we would top coat it, and it would all look very cohesive. I like that, though. Now, the question is, would I do this on every nail? And if I do this on every nail, would I have the gradient going the same direction on all the nails, or would I switch it on an accent nail or two? And also, I have the possibility of doing like the gradient only on the accent nail and then have the other nails just be the two greens individually. So like I could do gradient with clover and then like light green, dark green, light green, gradient with clover or something like that. And I can figure that out on Friday. Once I've decided that I'm doing these colors, I can finalize it then. Alright, let's try it with the Zoya color and see if that's even better or if it's worse. This is Zoya Wyatt, very similar in tone to Essie off Tropic, but not identical. That also picked up really well. So it looks like we just have a matter of preference once it's stamped on there. So let's, do I have room for it to be stamped next to it, still on the gradient? Mostly. It'll be good enough for us to be able to compare. Okay, let's get our palm deco color out again. Sorry for the focus. Come on, camera, do your thing. Thank you. Every time I do that, to get my brush to a point, it reminds me of that documentary that I was watching that was about the origins of toxicology and forensics in New York in the 1800s. And they were talking about radioactive paint. There were people who were developing bone cancer in their jaws after having worked with radium, I think it was, painting the numbers on the dial of clocks, like glow-in-the-dark numbers, because it was radioactive and it could glow, so they were using it for that purpose. And then they would lick their brushes to get them to come to a point, and because of that, their jaw was the area that had the most contact and exposure, and they had a lot of horrible problems later because of it. What a great association to have while I'm painting my nail designs, yeah? Okay. Alright. Let's wait for that to dry for a minute. I am so thrilled and happy that I have this little tray for my nail stuff now. I actually have a place to put a paper towel so that I can daub off color while I'm cleaning my brush, and I have like a flat surface for all my stamping things, so I'm not trying to do it on the lid and the tray in my lap. I used to use this lid on my lap. You know, I would lay it in my lap and do my stamping there. Oops. Sorry guys, hang on. My lens cover just like decided that it wanted to not be on there anymore. I'll have to put it on later. But now I have this lovely, wonderful table thing that fits over the arm of my chair, and it makes everything better. Okay, that's still a little bit too wet. Let's clean off the stamper. The stamping plate. Not the stamper. The stamper is still drying. That whole documentary was really interesting, though. You know, it was talking about, like, people learning about the dangers of leaded gasoline and, like, the development of the medical examiner as not just a political office, but as a doctor's medically informative office. So. I am feeling a little bit more happy and confident about my decisions. We're not going to use this, though, the gold Smith color. We're not using that. I do think I want to have these right side by side, though. Do I have enough room to do them right side by side? Nearly. That's close enough. Okay, so that's quite a bit lighter. If you're looking at the outlines of those next to each other, the Wyatt color is this one here, and it's quite a bit lighter, and you can't see the details as well. And this is off Tropic, and it's quite a bit darker in the outline, and you can see the details more clearly when you're further away. Like if you're here, you can see the lines in the one on the left a lot better than you can for the ones on the right. I think off Tropic is our winner for the lines. So goodbye, Wyatt. You're a nice, pretty color. These actually all three together could be a really nice gradient. You know, I'm not going to do that for the St. Patrick's nails, but I want to test that just for future reference. And Mom, you can see how the sponge method of normal gradients works. Okay. I was really mad about my nail deciding to tear again. Like, my nails definitely were getting to the point where they definitely needed to be filed, but I wouldn't have gone quite as short as I did if I had not had that rip. But they're fine. They're not too short. They're at like a normal level of length. The worst thing going on my hands right now actually is I cut myself along the edge of a file tab. We have metal tabs in our files that hold the student note sheets and things in there. This was a pretty deep cut. It was bleeding all over the place on Wednesday when I cut myself. It's mostly healed now. It's still, you know, the skin has to slough off as I grow new skin underneath, but it's not like a wound anymore. But when it happened, it was bleeding pretty badly, and I just put a band-aid on really tight to try to, like, you know, put pressure on it. And I put the band-aid on so tight that I gave myself a blood bruise. I damaged the tissue here on the side of my nail from the tight pressure of the band-aid. And that's taking longer to heal than the cut in the first place. Irony. Alright, let's see if that's... Nope, nowhere near dry enough. I'm just impatient. Let me close these, though. I really like that. The gradient with the clover on top with the details from the stamp. Yes. Not using that. Take my hair down. I'm just waiting for this color to dry so I can gradient on top of it. And then after we do that one gradient, then our stream will be done. And I think Colette is still on, so I'll probably host her. Is she still on? Let me look on Twitch on my phone. Probably I do. Yeah, she is. So I'll probably host her when I'm done. She's doing Hollow Knight tonight though, not nails. Do you see my fingerprint? It's not dry enough yet. I put my finger right there. Do you see where it's less shiny before I can focus it? There we go. There it is. There's my fingerprint. It's not ready. The tap test failed. There's a lot of green polish. A lot of options. I'm glad we narrowed it down to something that I am enjoying. Were you here when I was mentioning this, Mom? The orange vanilla Coke Zero. I like it. It's good. Thanks, Luke. Are you lurking in her chat too? I meant to stream earlier today. The plan was stream and then eat and then shower and then, you know, whatever later in the day. And the morning got away from me, and so did the early afternoon. And I ended up showering before I streamed. So next week I'm hoping that it will be earlier. Although next week I'm probably not going to stream on Sunday because I'm going to be streaming on Friday because that was the plan for St. Patrick's Day, because St. Patrick's Day is on Sunday. If I'm streaming on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day nails, then they're going to be defunct the next morning, and that's kind of lame. But I don't want to do it too early in the week. I mean, I might end up doing it earlier, like maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, so that I have more time. But those are days that I have work the next morning. I mean, I have work the next morning today too, but I can start earlier. So I have more time to putz around. That's almost dry enough. I'm still getting fingerprints, but they're not as dramatic, not as severe. Oh, that felt good. My neck cracked. Alright, I'm going to get the sponge ready. So we already were using this sponge earlier, but I don't want to get out a new sponge, so we're going to cut the sponge with my mini scissors. Mini Manny scissors! Ha ha! We're going to see if we can do it in one clean swoop. Pretty close, good enough. That'll work. Where did, here we go. Because they went in that order. So we're going to do Deco, and then Wyatt, and then off Tropic. Oh yeah, those look great on the sponge together. Yes, they do. Let's put a little bit more on. And then we will try it out. I don't think that was on camera. I'm sorry. Do you see there on the sponge how they blend so well together? And then we go dab, 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 dab. And then we put more on the sponge. And continue until the gradient blend is seamless. Sometimes people recommend to wet your sponge before doing a gradient as like a problem-solving step if your gradients are getting too, like if the polish is drying too quickly and you're not able to deposit it onto the nail well. Nail well, not nail well like a part of the nail is called the nail well. I don't know why, but that sounded like a technical term to me all of a sudden. But I've never had to do that. I have not encountered that level of difficulty at any point. That I did a little bit too soon. Do you see how it started to pick up the polish there? Sorry, that's a little dark. Let's see if we can get a little bit more light there going. Yeah, do you see there how it started to pick up the darkest polish in the middle? That's because I didn't wait long enough. So I'm actually gonna edit my little bit of my gradient there so I can fix it. So it's not showing the base color through. It's orange vanilla Coke Zero, Mom. Yeah. Orange vanilla. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Orange vanilla. It's new. James wanted to try it. And I don't think that he made a bad choice. I think he made a fine choice. That is almost good. I need to do one more layer where I kind of bounce up and down a little bit. But can you see? Oh no, that's awfully dark. There, that angle's better. We've got, once I get a little bit of up and down blend on those, how nicely those go together. Yeah. It's not, what do you mean Franken soda? It was made by Coca-Cola. Is Coca-Cola Frankenstein? Does that count? Okay. We got, I think this is probably going to be the last layer of the gradient, and then we're going to be done with stream. If this is the last layer. That's the thought anyway. And we can go up and down a little bit. Because when you're bouncing, I mean, you want to be, you can kind of roll a little bit and you can go side to side, but you also want to go up and down a little bit to create a blend. Not too much. You know, you don't want to lose your colors completely, but just a little bit. I think right there, that one little patch spot that I did was a little bit too wet still, and it picked up the color. Can you see right there, that hole? But on the other side, you can see the blend a lot better. And when you put top coat on it, it smooths everything out really nicely anyway. That is a good gradient option. Let me add some top coat. I have a scent of top coat that I don't like this scent, the Enchanted Unicorn scent. It sounded like, yes, Praise, I guess it is. It has more floral notes to it than I was expecting, so I don't like it as well as I thought I would, because it was like a fruity / floral scent. I would have to be more careful in my actual sponging if I actually did a gradient with that. You can see this middle part is really smooth, but then that edge part is too choppy on that side. So, but it's a good option. Okay, all right. I think that we are done with stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Good night, Mom. I'm probably going to go to bed pretty soon too, but I'm going to host Colette. And I will see you all soon. Bye. You're welcome, Luke. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. I mean, I guess we could raid her too, but I kind of feel like that's lame because we only have a couple of people. I'll say let's just host her today.